Hey guys, I was invited to play in a tech test for Arc Raiders, the new upcoming survival extraction shooter from Embark, the creative geniuses behind the finals. And, I'm gonna have to say, it's a really cool game, and they just released some new gameplay so they can showcase just kind of how the game is. I had a lot of fun in it, and I have a lot of things to say, so let's just dive into it. Starting off, of course, you can see this is one of the maps. This is Spaceport. Looks absolutely beautiful. They really nailed the setting in general. This is Esperanza Piazza. This is like the trading hub where you can go in and basically, trade. So in the game, there are quests that you can do, very much like in Tarkov or, I guess really any other extraction shooter at this point, even that new one from Delta Force. You get to see, like, the setting's really cool. It's got this, like, post-futuristic, I guess, for like a better word, setting. You got all this retro stuff going on. You're killing robots, and everyone's just kind of having a good time together here when you're in the piazza or the plaza. What I think is really cool about Esperanza is, again, the setting. Like when you're in the loading screen, you can see the place. If you hop back there real quick, I just want to have that in the background. You see this whole thing in the back, and it's just really, really cool. What I wish you could do is that you could maybe like walk around and explore it or something. Because when you are in the menu, when you are in your like workshop or in your loadout or whatever, in your own hideout, as it would be in Tarkov, you're not really connected to the piazza. And I really wish it were, because I think it would be really cool to be able to walk around. But there's a lot of things that they are working on, so maybe we'll see that later on in the game. But again, the setting, it feels amazing. It really pulls you in. So there's some character customization, of course, with skins. It is Embark. They got the finals. They got that thing nailed down. And this is how it looks like whenever you would go into the map. Hop on in. Buried City. Here you go. So when you look at this, you immediately think this is a pre-rendered. This is some if you have watched all the PlayStation Network reveals, this is not real gameplay. This is real gameplay. It even says early test footage. When I was playing the game, I was constantly like, this is not a real game. This is beautiful. This is a good-looking game. So again, you got the robots here in the background. We're gonna see more of them soon, I'm sure. Just want to point that out. You just want to run around looting. There's some hot spots you might want to go and pick up loot. And there's always these like small materials and whatever. I feel like picking up these small materials don't really matter. They're not that valuable. You want to get the big boys by going to the hot spots. This is where all the other players are as well. It's a PvE extraction shooter, of course. This is specifically Buried City as well, where they're at, is very dangerous. If you saw there's a flare going off, that means that somebody got killed or knocked across the map. This place is like, this is like labs, or was like labs in Tarkov. Basically, it's just constant fighting. Everyone comes here with the late game stuff, and they're just going at it, constantly fighting each other. There are robots, and the robots, again, we'll see more of them. They are a problem, but at this point, it's usually just the players that are the problem. Here you can see the quest. Here you can see then those are the hot zones. This is based on Arc activity. So Arc, that's the robots in the game. You saw the flying things. We'll see more of them later, I'm sure. But you also have, from my experience, it seemed like the level of loot you would get seemed to correspond with the Arc activity in most cases. So like a red zone would have more loot, and you would usually also find more players there. That could also just be that players were sought to go to those places because they were red on the map. I don't know.
Over there. Let's go there.
So something I think is really cool, you have a robot over there, so something I find really cool is you have movement in this game as well. Out of all extraction shooters I've played, Arc Raiders is the one that has actually nailed movement to a certain extent. There's sliding, there's jumping. There's grapples, we'll probably get to that. And as you see here, there are zip lines. Not only are there zip lines on the map you can take, but there are zip lines. There's a zip line gadget that you can place. You can just kind of go wherever you want to. It's really cool, and it feels really dynamic as well. Just hopping on a little detail with the bird. For being a tech test, it was very polished. Oh, the occasional bug, but very, like, clean. So you have the robots. So this is the main problem with the robots. Sure, they might kill you or deal some damage, but the main problem is that they alert other players to your presence. And because they do take some space away to shoot at you, you have to be careful with it.
Let's go to that.
Not to get, you know, killed by the robot. But it usually pins you and alerts everyone about your location, and you're gonna end up getting ganked, which is what happened here. Maybe not. They pinged it at least. Here we go. So when you kill the robots, have different hotspots or weak points. If you, generally speaking, you want to shoot these round things, the rotors. If you take 2 down, they lose all the balance, so you just kind of crash down. Also, there's a bunch of different weapons. He's using the Berletta pistol, using light ammo. There's light ammo, medium ammo, heavy ammo, and of course shotgun ammo. There's shotguns. Just a bunch of different types of ammo, and they go for different types of weapons. It's not as advanced as in Tarkov, for example, which leans towards realistic, where you have 5.56, 7.62. I can't even think of all the different types. There's so many, right? 5mm. I actually don't know if that was in the game. It's simpler. So Tarkov is very advanced, very complicated. Some might like that. I like the mod system. There's a mod system in this game as well. But the mod system in Tarkov is very, 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 it's leaning towards realistic, maybe a little bit cumbersome because there's so many attachments. You have all these ammo types. You could go in Tarkov with like, I think it's like an M4, and if you use like the wrong, like you could put the bullets into the weapon, into your magazine, you can fit the magazine, but when you try shooting, it doesn't work because it's the wrong bullet, right? Like it's very unforgiving, and you're gonna spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, not only sorting your inventory, but doing your loadout, buying the ammo, buying that. Like, it's just annoying. You spend more time in Tarkov in the menu than in the game. Maybe that's a skill issue, I don't know. In this game, in Arc Raiders, you don't really do that. Not the same way, at least. It's definitely a lot simpler, and it feels a lot better to play it. Because you actually get in game and get to go for the action. So you can't have an extraction shooter without a area with high tier loot that has locks on it. And the locks are unlocked by keys that you find in various ways.
Let's get over there. Got the subject here.
Hey, Raider.
Don't shoot, I'm a friend.
You wanna split the loot?
Yeah, that never happened, but the second part definitely happened.
Attack the target.
Yeah, that's not gonna do much. He has is it a shotgun in his back? I'm not sure, we'll see soon. Yeah, so what I really like, there's just a tiny thing, you can swap the shoulders. There's a lot of third-person shooters out there, not many do this right, but being able to swap the shoulders just makes it feel so fluid. There's no right side, left side advantage. You just swap the shoulder when you know, again, the wall's on the right side, and now you can peek around it easily. It feels a bit weird, but it makes a lot of sense.
Up there. Careful, that's a hornet.
Quest here. Seed vault.
Found an antiseptic.
Again, none of this is pre-rendered. It just looks as good.
Plastic.
Almost to a fault, you would say. It might be hard to see enemies sometimes because of how high, I guess realistic, for lack of a better word, it looks. How good it looks.
Raider, contact.
Firefight. I feel like firefights are. I've seen both more drawn out and faster than that. That one just felt very scripted. It was funny. So here's another map. This is the dam. A little bit more. Oh, so we're gonna get some clips here. These are drones that I think these don't crash, but there's another one that comes down that you can break open and loot. They give you some certain types of loot. It's called like arc loot. Not super. Like I want to say it's not that valuable. Personally, I just kept going for there's like weapon caches and stuff you can get instead. But absolutely, yeah, sure. They might find people around those. Big boy. That is a big boy. Those are the ones with that was like care package. You were calling in a care package, and this is picking up a care package. This guy has a grapple equipped. I wonder if we'll get to see anything with the grapple. There's so much potential with the movement you can grapple. And it reminds me a little bit of the controls for the finals grapple. And it also carries some momentum. You can kind of, so if you do it properly, I didn't really get to experiment with it enough. I figured out how the grapple works in like the last day or two. But you can also do some really cool slides. If you slide downhill, you keep speed. So if you come with a grapple like from the right angle and then you slide, you keep the speed from the grapple and you just keep like zooming forward. It's actually, it feels, the movement in this game, funny enough, feels better than the finals. I can't say it feels better than a Source game, which I guess is a given, but it is getting very close, especially for being an early tech test. It feels very good, very smooth, very fluid. So that was okay. I'll just explain. Just showing a lot of quick cuts here. I'll just explain as we go by. We got, this is a big boy. I actually forgot what they call, but these things are difficult to kill. You're gonna need some special gear. I ended up finding this a special grenade you can get that like just explodes into a bunch of other grenades. You throw that at this thing and it dies in one shot. But you can try to kill this with guns, and it's not gonna happen. Me and my randoms have died to it countless of times. Not good. That's a rocketeer. It's big, shoots rockets, pretty tanky as well. Spiders. I don't remember the names. They don't really matter. I guess the names too much, right? These things, they're invisible, and if you don't kill them, they're a little bit. You can see them crawling around and have like a. It's like fully invisible. It's like Halo invisible, so you can see like an opaque thing going on. But they, if you don't kill them, they're gonna jump in your face and just kind of hold you there like a head crab until you whack them off. That's a big guy. There is the drone I mentioned, or like, I guess this care package. Breaking it open. Oh yeah, this is a big thing. Nobody knew this in the beta. I mean, the tech test, which I thought was funny. At least in the tech test, I don't think they were that valuable to do. Here. But you can find these boxes lying around the map. You need to take them to like a special part, not too far away, like 100 meters away from where you find them, and just like plug it in and you can get ammo, guns and grenades, I think. Like not super high tier loot, but still something decent. That's the grapple. Oh, I wish you could see more. Oh, that's the logo. But yeah, overall, I wish we could see more. I wish I could show you guys more, because we played it in tech test. You know, it's still far from being the finished product, and they would rather us showing this footage than our own gameplay, because of, like, again, they want to present a very good quality product. But overall, it was very refined, very polished. Again, there were some things I wish they would show. We didn't get to see much of the UI, the menu. I guess they don't want to show it in a gameplay thing, but when it comes to like an extraction shooter, I think having a good UI, a simple system is very important, and we didn't get to see that. But there's what I also didn't mention is there are, again, you can craft some items. There are traders, as with most extraction shooters. You can upgrade. You have a hideout that you can upgrade. It was pretty bare bones in the tech test. I assume it's going to be upgraded a lot by the time SEC coming 2025. I got quite a lot of fun out of the game. Definitely for being a tech test, very close to being, it felt very finished, very polished. Again, the occasional bug, nothing game-changing. The grapple was super fun to use. That was probably like the only thing I had issues with. But I'm sure that'll be fixed by 25 by the time it comes out. It was very fun. I was sucked in, played as much as I could the entire time. I'm excited to play the game once it comes out. A few other things to also notice is that the game has very fluid animations. There's small animations for everything. The UI is very clean, as you can see. Let's just turn on the background off so we have something running in the background. Balancing wise, they have a few things to figure out. Again, I would hope it's fixed by the tech test. These are things that have been figured out in Tarkov. There is a so in Tarkov you have, or in most of these games, you have like a safe pocket, like a prison wallet. You can stick one item in. If you die, it's safe. You bring it back with you. Problem in Arc Raiders is that, and that's something that Tarkov figured out, and maybe will have changed this by 25, is that you can put everything in this pocket. Really, anything you want. You could carry an armor and put it in the pocket. You could have a really expensive item and put it in the pocket. You could have some really in Tarkov, that was night vision goggles or night vision scopes or weapons with the scope on it. It changed up a little bit. And the reason that's a problem is because they were extremely expensive. Probably one of the most expensive things you could find. Normally we put the expensive item that you want in there, right? But what people did is they load into a raid nighttime, and then they just put a night vision weapon on or goggles or whatever, and then when they're about to die, they stuff that in a prison wallet so they don't lose the expensive item. They might be coming with very cheap weapons, but a very expensive set of night vision goggles. There's probably, I couldn't find the exact equivalent in this game, so maybe it's not a problem, but it's something I noticed, a little bit of a balancing issue on that end. The game also has, much like Tarkov, in Tarkov, they're called scav runs. You don't really have scavs in this game. The PvE are these big robots, but in Arc Raiders, you have the, what do they call them? Trader runs. So it's still a little bit the same. You get to load into the map, choose whatever map you want, and you get to you get a random loadout with some decent stuff, less, way smaller loadout, and you also like so way smaller inventory space, way less inventory space, and you don't have your prison wallet. This game also has experience progression for better or worse, think what you want. Personally, I'm not sure what to think about it. I've never really liked experience progression, but it is common in extraction shooters that if you play for a long enough time, your strength will level up or whatever. There are 3 different perks at the time of the alpha test that you can get. All of them are things like strength, survival, and mobility or something. And they do marginal things. They raise your like movement speed or small, if I remember quickly, small things like that. But it adds up very quickly if you compare like a level 1 to a max level hero. Overall, though, it's still a good way to add progression. So even if you lose all your money, you have something going on. Again, love it or hate it, it is a feature at the time of this video. Trying to see if there's anything else I wanted to mention. I had a lot of notes. They also have, so in typical Embark fashion, they have community events. They had a community event to get, I didn't write it down, I think it was like salvage a certain amount of value, I believe, or like extract a certain amount of value over the course of the beta. I believe we got it, in which case everyone who participated got a skin. This has already been a thing in the finals for a very long time now, and it really just bands the community together, and it's just an overall positive. So that's pretty cool. I also had to mention that you can, speaking of the inventory space, I was not a big fan of how small it was. I felt like you can't really do, so because the game flows faster, you're gonna end up in a lot of fights, and usually, at least in this game, at the time of this video, there's only one inventory size, assuming you don't load in as a scav, as a trader. And also, if you load in as a scav, as a trader, you can be a scav and your teammates can be like just the normal guy, right? You can do a trader run, but your teammates can still load in and be like normal people. But when I was playing, one thing I didn't like is that everyone has the same inventory, and what ends up happening is you load into a raid, you get into maybe one fight, maybe off rip, or you hit one hotspot, And then you gotta leave. You cannot carry anything else. So you gotta make this difficult decision of what am I gonna keep, what am I gonna throw away, because you're gonna max out your inventory space so fast. I wish there were more backpacks you could pick up or equip beforehand. Maybe that's an upgrade down the line. We will see. Not something I was a big fan of, especially because I kept feeling like, as somebody who did do a lot of PvP specifically, I always rushed a hot spot. I always sought out the fight. I went in the direction of the gunshots. Every single game I played, I got out of 1 skirmish, 2 skirmishes, and then it was time to leave again. I never get to feel like I never got that feeling of staying in the raid for that long. Personally, that was a bit of a. It ruined it a bit for me because I kept feeling like I had to extract. Personally, still not a game breaker, but it was something that bothered me. But yeah, overall, again, for being a tech test, the game has been super polished. I had a lot of fun, played all of the time that I could. I spent all the time that I could playing the tech test during the time I was live. Now, I believe it was like I think ranked had just released for Deadlock or something, so I couldn't really play it as much as I wanted to. But I did play all my free time. I even stayed up late one night to get some hours in. Definitely a vibe. Definitely can see myself playing this in the near future if other people enjoy it as much as I do. As I said back all the way, in 2025. But we're all looking forward to that. A huge thank you to Embark for inviting me to actually play in this playtest. I am hoping I didn't drag it too hard. These are my honest thoughts, and I would not be surprised if all of this is changed by the time the game is out, but just something I noticed that I wanted to mention. Overall, very hopeful for it. Normally, I've hated on third-person shooters in general and extraction shooters, but I've come around on that for the last half a year or so. And Arc Raiders is proving that, again, maybe my hate wasn't completely warranted. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Curious to hear what you guys think about the trailer and my thoughts in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.